The cool thing is there are some lenders out there that will give your LLC a business loan with no revenue requirements, okay, and a no doc or low doc, so you have a lower level of paperwork required. So if you are interested in this kind of loans, LLC loans, here is a review for you. Number 5, we have Fundbox. Our score, 8.8 over 10. So when you think about Fundbox, you want to think about a lender who is relatively generous when it comes to LLC business loans with no revenue, low doc, okay? And you are looking at $1,000 to $150,000, and they want you to have at least 6 months when it comes to operational history, operational longevity. So time in business, 6 months. And one thing I want to say here is that we love the fact that Fundbox is constantly improving their algorithm. Actually, Fundbox is one lender, is a fintech company that uses artificial intelligence to actually process their loans, their business loans, okay? They actually look at a constellation, their algorithm looks at a constellation of factors, okay, when it comes to approving your LLC business loan. And let me quickly talk to you about the pros and cons of this player here. So pros, you can receive a decision within 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. We have tested the process. It's actually 3 to 4 minutes. They do have a low minimum credit score requirement, and they actually offer next day funding. What about the cons? Well, they only have short-term repayment terms that are available. You are looking at 12 or 24 weeks. Think about it. That's really, really short, but hey, it is what it is. And they have a relatively low lines of credit up to $150,000, okay? And but one thing I want to say here is that Fundbox is really, really fast when it comes to approvals. So they actually will approve you real quick, okay? By the way, welcome back to the show. I really appreciate having you here. And as we walk through those LLC business loans, no revenue, fast approval, I just want to say that Fundbox is a great player you want to consider, okay? And if you have a personal credit score of 600, you could qualify. 600, you will qualify. And you just want to be in business for at least 6 months, okay? So there is a possible option for LLC startups. Number 4, we have here Biz to Credit. Our score, 9 over 10. So when you think about Biz to Credit, I want you to think about a lender who is even more generous than Fundbox. I mean, Biz to Credit, just check this out. They will actually approve you for like loan amounts that oscillate from $25,000 to $6 million, okay? And time in business, 6 months. Minimum credit score, 575. This is just fantastic. And what we love about Biz to Credit is that they are pretty flexible. They have a large variety of business loans for your LLC, okay? They have everything from LLC, term loan, working capital loans, commercial real estate loans. This is really cool. And you are looking at, again, 25 grand to $6 million. This is just fantastic. So you know your LLC is in good hands with Biz to Credit, right? By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. What are we talking about? We're speaking about LLC business loans, no revenue, fast approval, low documentation. The top 5. Top 5, not top 10. No, just not trying to waste your time here. Only the top 5. Let's talk about the pros and cons of this lender. Pros. They have less stringent qualification requirements for working capital loans. They have a minimum annual revenue requirements of $100,000 for some loans and in some states. And they have a quick application, okay? So what we love about Biz to Credit is the diversity of loan options. They have quick application, approval, and funding process. So this is really good. We love that a lot. What about the cons here? They have more stringent qualification requirements for term and CRE loans. They have working capital loans that require daily, weekly, or bi-monthly payments. So this could be a problem if your LLC has a problem adjusting its liquidity strategy, because when you have daily, weekly, or monthly or bi-weekly payments, this could be really disruptive to your LLC's liquidity plan, right? And CRE loans for LLCs, the approvals can take up to 30 days. So you better be patient here, okay? But with Biz to Credit, you are in good hands. credit score minimum 575. This is really great. They want you to be in business for at least 12 to 18 months. It's great, and have annual revenue that oscillates between 125 and $250,000. Let me talk to you about number 3. So we are having a conversation about LLC business loans, no revenue, fast approval, no or low doc. Okay. So Funding Circle, our score 9.1 over 10. So when we talk about Funding Circle, we are talking about a lender who prefers established businesses, established LLCs. Okay. Here the loan amounts are more, I think they're sort of like in the middle. So they're not like super high, they're not super low either. Okay. So you are looking at $25,000 to $500,000. And they want you to be in business, minimum time in business, 1 to 2 years, and minimum credit score 600 to 660. And what we love about Funding Circle is that we love the consistency. They've been doing this for nearly 14 years. Okay. They started in 2010, and here we are, they're still here. Okay. This is a lender who is a lender that's well run. In terms of what we love about Funding Circle is that they actually have a simple application process, and they actually have a customer service that is impeccable. They have experts, they have loan reps on staff in-house who will help you actually, they will help you before your loan gets approved and after the loan is approved. So it's just fantastic. It is really fantastic. What about the pros and cons of this player? Pros: you have loans up to $500,000. You have funding in as little as 48 hours. This is really good. And no minimum annual revenue requirements. Fantastic. And what about the cons? Well, you have a one-time origination fee between 3.49% and 6.99% of the approved loan amount. They do require 1 to 2 years in business. And the loan is not available for Nevada businesses. So because of regulatory conditions in Nevada, they have not been able to get a banking license yet. So it is what it is. So if you happen to be in Nevada, you're not going to qualify at all. Don't even try, okay? But overall, I mean, great lender, Funding Circle, great lender. And they just want you to have a minimum credit score of 600 to 650 or 660, and minimum annual revenue that goes from $125 to $400,000, depending on your geography. But they are really fast also. They do take about 2 to 3 days to actually get back to you. But hey, it is what it is. Fantastic. Funding Circle, 9.1 over 10. Number 2, we have National Funding. Our score, 9.6 over 10. So when you think about National Funding, I want you to think about a lender that is great for small to mid-sized LLC businesses. And here we are looking at loan amounts that go from $5,000 to $500,000. So if your LLC business has been in operation for 6 months, at least 6 months, you will qualify. Minimum credit score for the LLC business founder, we're looking at 600. Okay. And so when you think about National Funding, you want to think about a variety of business loans. You want to think about equipment financing. You want to think about working capital, small business loans. You want to think about a lot of things. Okay. They offer equipment financing. They offer business loan. They offer business line of credit in some cases. So, but the cool thing is that you have money for your working capital needs, including inventory, payroll, marketing, taxes, and more. So this is kind of cool for your LLC business. Okay. And, so for equipment financing, they offer up to $150,000 for your LLC, but you got to have a minimum personal credit score of 575 to 600. Okay. To qualify for that financing method. Okay. And what we love about the National Funding is that they're kind of similar to Funding Circle. They will assign someone to you who will help you out, who will work with you to make sure you have the proper expertise, the proper information to apply properly for their loan. Okay. And here are the pros and cons. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about LLC business loans, no revenue, fast approval, low or no doc. The top five players, not 10, not 20, not 100. Okay. So here are the pros and cons. The pros: financing up to $500,000. You have early payoff discounts. What about the cons? Well, they do require daily or weekly payments. They have potential high borrowing cost, and they do require minimum gross annual sales of $125 to $250,000. So $125,000 to $250,000. Okay. But overall, what we love about national funding is that they're really fast. Okay. You can actually be funded within 24 hours of approval. So this is really good. Fantastic. Number one, the best of the best when it comes to LLC business loans, no revenue, low doc or no doc, fast approval, massive amounts. You are looking at Lendio. Our score, 9.9 over 10. When you think about Lendio, I want you to think about a lender. Lendio is not a direct lender, by the way. Lendio is a lender comparison site. In other words, they have a lender network. I think about 75 to 90 lenders. And when your LLC actually applies for a business loan on Lendio, they kind of consolidate the business loan, and they actually in turn dispatch search application to lenders in their network. So lenders actually have access to your data, to your LLC data, and lenders can choose whether or not your LLC constitutes a good risk for them. Okay. And with Lendio, you have a loan amounts that go from $500 to $5 million. They want you to be in business for at least 6 months. So your LLC must be operating. And I'm talking about real operation, not like, I got my paperwork from the state and state authorities. And no. You must be operating, like having a bank account, buying from vendors, selling to customers, this kind of activity, this kind of regular economic activity. Okay. And your minimum credit score when it comes to Lendio, 560. Okay. And one thing I want to say here is that here are the pros and cons of Lendio. So the cool thing about Lendio is that you have the centralized application process that I just spoke about earlier. So you're able to have one single application, and you are able to be dispatched to more than 75 lenders. And you have a wide variety of loan products, including term loans, lines of credit, and SBA loans. This is really cool. Okay, very fantastic. Here are the cons I want you to really pay attention to. So some lenders within the network, they will charge prepayment penalties, and the funding times vary depending on the specific lender. So lender is not guaranteeing you the best rate ever, because they are just like the middleman when you really think about it. But they'll actually connect you, they'll hook you up with the best lenders ever. And but the cool thing here is that Lendio, we love the fact that applying through Lendio will take about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. And so after you review your offers, because what will happen here is that you will put your LLC information and you will just dispatch it to Lendio. And Lendio, there are lenders that are standing by that will approve you right away. And once you get your offers, if you're approved by your lender, you can receive your funds in as little as 24 hours. So your LLC will be funded, not a problem. So this is really cool. Okay. So here it is, the top 5 LLC business loans, no revenue, fast approval. Now I want to quickly talk a little bit. I want to give you an overview before we close to this conversation, because we always love to contextualize any conversation we have. Now, if you want to look for an LLC business loan, no revenue, fast approval, low doc, there are a few pointers that you need to think about when it comes to comparing those loans. Okay, you want to look at the dashboards and mobile apps of the loans. Lendio, all those players, they have apps, they have dashboards. What kind of info do you have? Okay, what kind of information are those dashboards conveying to you? Are the dashboards like user friendly? What about interface? What about ease of use? Those are really important. And you always have to determine how much you want to, how you want to receive your funds, right? You can actually get a lump sum, or you can get funds on an as needed basis. Normally, if you get an LLC business loan, you should be getting the lump sum, because this is not an LLC business line of credit, right? You want to consider the repayment terms and the flexibility also. This is really important for you to have a clear idea about what you're getting yourself into. And also, there are some lenders that actually love to charge, like they love to assess additional fees. So be very careful on that front here, because you don't want to have somebody giving you $100,000 and they're charging you like $5,000. This is kind of crazy. Like they're taking cash away from you. Don't do this. And you also want to think about the lender's customer support options. Okay. And ask yourself, do I want to apply for the loan online or at the branch or over the phone? Now, the thing is, those 5 players that I spoke to you today about, they're not regular banks. They're not credit unions. So they don't have like brick and mortar branches you can go to. No, you only can, you only can apply online or over the phone. Okay. But you want to constantly evaluate your borrowing needs so you are sure about what you're getting yourself into. Review your credit score and reports. Okay. Familiarize yourself with eligibility requirements. So not only in terms of LLC, but also at the personal level. You want to complete all the necessary documentation. Okay. This is important. And let me give you a bonus before we close today's conversation. The thing is, one thing you will realize when you start digging into a LLC, business loans, no revenue, no or low documentation, fast approval, you will realize that a lot of them are available online. Like this is a kind of, I would say this is a kind of sector or a kind of space where you don't see traditional lenders. You don't see banks, you don't see credit unions fighting, sort of vying for this territory here. No, like, okay, you want it, just take it. We don't care. So the thing is, you have to understand you basically will get a loan online from an online lender, online business lender, or an alternative business lender. Okay. Those are the 2 categories who can take care of your LLC. If you need a business loan, no revenue, low doc or no doc, and fast approval. And it's really important when we talk about those lenders to understand that you're going to find that they offer a constellation and a variety of business loans, everything from term loans to lines of credit. Some will even give you invoice factoring for your LLC. So ask yourself, does my LLC need a business loan? Like, does my LLC need an invoice factoring arrangement? Does my LLC need a business line of credit? Does my LLC need a business term loan? Those are things you need to think about, right? And one thing I also want to talk about here is your ability to repay the loan, because it's not just about getting the loan. The question is, are you going to be in a position where your LLC will be strong enough, monetarily speaking, to repay the loan? This is really important. A lot of LLC founders, LLC members, they forget that aspect of things. I always say this on this show that, I'll give you $1 billion. I'll lend you $1 billion. The question is, are you going to be able to repay me? Can you repay the loan? Can you pay the loan off? So it's not about just getting the loan. It's about being in a position where you can actually repay the loan real quick. Okay. And this is something that a lot of business owners, including LLC members, they fail to actually to clarify, because the lender is willing to give you a loan. That's how lenders make money. Lenders make money by lending, by actually loaning out funds, right? They have the cash and they want to loan it out, and they actually collect APR, they collect interest. The only risk is that, you have the risk of default, that the borrower does not repay whatever he or she has borrowed. That's the only thing. But if the lender is comfortable that you can repay the loan, they are willing to give you more money than you could have ever imagined. So those are really important elements to actually take into account as you analyze your standing, your LLC standing, when it comes to an LLC business loan, no revenue, fast approval, low or no. Before I do a recap here, I want to familiarize you with our loan evaluation approach. We have a strong system on this show when it comes to LLC business loan evaluation, categorization, and listing. Check this out. All right, let's quickly do a recap here. Number 1, we have Lendio. Our score 9.9 over 10. Number 2, we have National Funding. Our score 9.6 over 10. Number 3, we have Funding Circle, 9.1 over 10. Number 4, we have Biz to Credit, 9 over 10. And number 5, we have Fundbox. Our score 8.8 over 10. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.